It's time for the 49ers Rush podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. We are going to the Super Bowl. Welcome to the 49ers Rush podcast. I'm your host, John Chapman, as always. I got a little bit of a different setup. I am currently on vacation, and you can tell by the red face. I've been skiing all weekend. Absolute blast, but none of that compares to what just happened with the San Francisco 49ers. Holy cow. Here's the thing. You get all the comments all week, and we're going to be sharing a whole bunch of stuff, whether we're going to go over the game, we're going to look a little bit forward to the Chiefs, really wherever you guys want to go, and depending on where you're joining us, first off, thank you. Really, really glad you are with us. If you have a question or a comment or something you want to talk about on this podcast today, just put @John, whether you're listening to Twitch, watching on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, wherever. We're going to make sure that we get to your questions. And usually, yes, I know, I wait for the Kyle Shanahan press conference. I couldn't do it. A big thing about this is, you're a fan and you enjoy the games and all that stuff. And the way that this just played out, we got to talk football. This is amazing. The 49ers crush the Packers. They don't win against the Packers. You're up 20-7 to 0 at the half. You're breaking rushing records with an undrafted free agent that's, gone wherever. You're not even throwing passes. Everybody wants to talk about the NFL being a 7-on-7 passing league. You want to bet? You want to bet? I don't know about that, man. There is definitely a renaissance taking place across the NFL. You see that with teams like the Titans and the 49ers. And what they were able to accomplish today was nothing short of amazing. That was an all-out team effort. And for all those Packers fans that's been trolling 49ers fans, oh, but Aaron Rodgers is different in the playoffs. Oh, but this Packers team is different. They were kind of worse. They turned it around in the third and fourth quarter, the way they came out. They scored 3 touchdowns on 3 straight possessions to start the second half, and that was key. But it didn't matter because we shrunk it so much. I tweeted out that the most points the Packers have scored all season in the second half is 21 points. They got 20 against us. But, that was airing it out, going for fourth downs, onside kicks, all those different things. It just wasn't enough. And the 49ers put up 10 points in the second half, and anytime you win by 17, that's huge. And that's back-to-back weeks now that the 49ers have won by 17. Absolutely great game. Let's jump into some questions and comments. I love it. Yeah, Rombo Sports just ends. 49ers Rush podcast begins. We got you, Mr. Joe. And thank you for joining us. And wherever you're listening, please hit that like button. That is huge. Help us out. Man, Mosley is a dog. You are exactly right. Casey. And here's what I want to say, too. Ahkello Witherspoon made 2 key plays today on special teams. One, that huge punt return by Richie James, which, set up a scoring drive as well. 49ers scored on 6 straight possessions on offense, but that play was sprung. Ahkello Witherspoon had the key block on that punt return, and then on a kickoff later on where the kickoff returner for the Packers bobbled the ball, I think it was Irvin, Ahkello goes down there and makes a huge clutch tackle to make their drive start in the 10. So shout out to Ahkello. Way to respond. Somebody that embodies the personality of this team first, and amazing locker room. Anybody that talks about the 49ers, that talks about Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, everybody loves the locker room. Everybody loves the locker room. Everybody wants to be a part of the 49ers. You have what's called like the Patriot way and all those things, and it's just all work. Nobody really enjoys it, all that kind of stuff. Niners are not that way. And it's been a clear testament. They said, hey, and it came from Emmanuel Sanders, again, in the locker room, leaders inside the organization. If you've been dancing all year and enjoying yourself, keep dancing. Don't change it. Don't change who you are and what you've been. Own up to that and continue living into that. And that's what we've done. And Emmanuel Mosley comes up with a huge interception. And you really felt like that was the point where it was like, man, this game is close to over. And that was in the first half. But that Emmanuel Mosley interception was gigantic. They were giving up the out route. They were giving up the comeback all game. They're fine with that. That's the biggest weakness of the defense, and they're just basically say, look, you want to throw 10 out routes to get down the field, that's fine. Just know, if we sit on it, we're going to get an interception or we're going to sack your quarterback. We did a lot of both today, but great game by Mosley. He played very, very well, and you take that right cornerback position for the 49ers, which has been a weakness, and now it's turning into a little bit of a strength. That is huge. That is great. Jimmy Gallardo, frick the Chiefs, bro. I'm with you 100%. Chiefs look great. What they've been able to accomplish in this playoff run against the Texans and then against the Titans. And again, for those of you that have been with the 49ers Rush podcast, I called this. I said, I really do think the Super Bowl is going to be the 49ers and the Chiefs. And both of those two teams made it out handedly. They both look a cut above over everybody else. This is going to be a Super Bowl to remember, because you have the best offense and you have the best defense going at it. Now, usually in those matchups, the defense wins. The old adage is offense wins games, defense wins championships. So we'll have to see. I do think that the spread's going to come out just slightly in favor of the 49ers, probably like 1.5 or 2 points. It's going to be a lot less than what we were used to seeing. We've been a full touchdown favorite against everybody, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. I really, really don't. I think it's going to be a very, very small spread. That's what I think it's going to be. Let's see here from Mr. Superfly87. Thank you for joining us. He's always with us. Do you think the Chiefs or the Packers defense is tougher? I believe the Chiefs defense is much tougher. Their interior defensive lineman, Chris Jones, is amazing. Frank Clark, we played against him a lot when he was with Seattle. Honey Badger could have been Defensive Player of the Year, and if you watch the game today, had some huge hits. That defense is much better. Now, there are a lot of weaknesses on that defense, so we're going to get into that. We got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks, guys and ladies, till the Super Bowl. And what's going to happen is we're going to break down everything. We're obviously going to do a film breakdown, offense, defense of this game, but we're going to do a whole bunch of film work on the Chiefs. I'm going to have all that for you. So we are going to give this game the Super Bowl treatment that it deserves. And so trust me, if you have not subscribed to this podcast yet, it's not always like this where you just see my red face. A lot of times it's a film-based approach, and that's what we want to do. And this is going to be so much film. We could do 4 episodes a week. Might throw in a couple just because I'm so freaking excited, and I think all of you are as well. But it's going to be a lot of film, and we're going to be going over a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. Now, if you want the full hour and a half plus film breakdown from this game, it'd be 2-hour episodes from this, and I'll probably do 2-hour episodes just on the Chiefs offense and the defense. If you want all that and my notes on top of that, head over to the Patreon page. Just go to patreon.com, type in 49ers Rush Podcast. The link, if you look in the description, wherever you're watching this, will be there as well. Contribute. That's the best way to support the podcast as well. So head over there for that. So excited, man. We are going to Miami, baby. And we are back. The 49ers, this is huge. The quest for 6. You go from the number 2 overall draft choice. You get Nick Bosa and a whole bunch of other additions to the Super Bowl. And we have run it. We were 9-0. We lost the number 1 seed twice. For 2 weeks, we weren't the number 1 seed. We were the number 5 seed. But we end up on top, the Dre Greenlaw play. And now we're running through the playoffs with ease. Very, very easy back-to-back games against the Vikings and the Packers. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now we got a matchup, and I'm glad it's a tough matchup. So excited about this. Very, very pumped. Now let's talk a little bit about injuries, because we did have injuries. Now the good news is we have 2 weeks, right? We got a full bye week again before the Super Bowl. Now Tevin Coleman's not going to be coming back. If you saw where he went down and he put his forearm down and it shivered, and he couldn't even walk off. He couldn't even take a step. whenever it first happened until they put that cast on it. And then you saw him on the sidelines later in the game with his arm inside of his hoodie. He's not going to be coming back. At best case scenario is probably going to be a hairline fracture in the wrist, but that's going to be a forearm break or a wrist break. Some people called it elbow, some people called it shoulder, but no, that is a forearm wrist injury, and he is not coming back, which raises some questions at the running back position. Mostert, obviously, golly, there's so many records you could talk about. 29 rushing attempts for 220 yards, 4 touchdowns. That doesn't make sense. The second best postseason rushing performance of all time. Only Eric Dickerson had more yards. That's it, all time. So he broke the 49ers postseason rushing record, averaged 7.6 yards per carry. He was the first player in NFL history to have 150 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in the first half. You can keep going on. It's stupid. It is absolutely stupid how amazing this guy was. But here's the problem. There was a spot in the second quarter where Mostert ran like 7 or 8 times in a row, and he looks to the sideline. I don't know if you guys caught this on the broadcast, and he motioned like this to take me out. He was exhausted. So he starts to walk to the sideline, and Breida goes in. Then it changes. It pans to Kyle Shanahan's face, and he is livid. He is F-bombing this and F-bombing that. He is pissed off because he wanted to call a play specifically for Mostert. Now, he ended up using a timeout there. And then after the timeout, put Mostert back in and called it wasn't really even a complex play. Mostert was the wing. He was up on the line of scrimmage, just barely off, motioned back, and then they handed it to him for a first down. It was a 3rd and 2 play, if my memory serves me correctly. But, you walk away from this game, Matt Breida got 1 carry for 2 yards. They did not trust Matt Breida with the ball at all. Even when they were up 27 points, Matt Breida still wasn't getting in. So 100%, you're going to activate, the hero from the Arizona game, Jeff Wilson Jr. He's going to be a part of this backfield, but it's pull out all the stops time. Raheem Mostert's a smaller back. He's never had this many carries in his entire life, but it seems like we have a workhorse back at least, and you could work him versus the Packers because he gets a full week off now. So in the Super Bowl, there's no game after that. So maybe it's just going to be the Raheem Mostert show, which if he could do this, 7.6 yards per carry for 29 carries, 4 touchdowns, you got to be fine with that. And, he adds 2 catches for 6 yards, which he got 1 first down out of those receptions. Just a machine. Raheem Mostert and that offensive line, you have to give it to them. They are the MVPs for sure. And, yeah, you got to love the faithful. I love it. They've shown out, and they have been so consistent. It is absolutely amazing how far they've come. John, how about that 3rd and 8 run in the first for the touchdown? That's when I knew we were going to dominate. It was 3rd and 8. We were on like the 36-yard line, I believe, and we just call a simple trap, run right up the middle, and Mostert just takes it to the house. It was a clear, defined call. We were going to destroy this team on the ground. Jimmy Garoppolo went 2 straight quarters without attempting a pass. He didn't throw a pass in the 3rd quarter, and it goes all the way back to the 2nd quarter that he stopped throwing the ball. I mean, George Kittle didn't have a catch until the 9th drive. The 9th offensive drive was the first time that Kittle got a catch. Emmanuel Sanders, I don't even think got a target. Just nothing. So that was done. So it doesn't make sense how good they were. From Greg, how effective do you see our rushing attack working against the Chiefs? The Chiefs are not built to necessarily stop the run. Anthony Hitchens is a much better middle linebacker than Blake Martinez, who we just saw with the Packers. But their defensive line is all about getting pressure on the quarterback. So if you watch the Chiefs game today, Chris Jones, probably their best player on defense, one of the best players, he didn't even go in till 3rd down. He's been nursing the flu. He'll be completely healthy. So he's going to be played. They're going to be a healthy team. So we'll have to wait and see some things and go over some injury reports, and I'll dive into all that and get that. I'm flying back to California tomorrow. So once I get home, I'll spend a lot of time just making sure I can get everything to you guys and put out top quality content. That's what we do. So if you have it again, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit that up arrow or the like button wherever it is. That's going to be huge. From Matthew, how do the Niners stop Mahomes? It's not easy. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. The most balanced quarterback in the NFL. You have Lamar Jackson, who won the MVP. But you look at what Mahomes has done in 2 years of starting. Back-to-back AFC championships, his first Super Bowl appearance, MVP last year. Mahomes is for real. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think many people argue with that, with what he's done back-to-back years. You got to make him uncomfortable, and we'll get into all that. I don't want to jump too much ahead of that, but you have to make him uncomfortable, and the teams that have had the most success against the Chiefs are hard, physical running teams that don't fall behind. Because the Chiefs can score like this. They'll put up 21 points in 5 minutes. But as long as you keep it within reach and you don't allow them to jump out to a 17, 20-point lead, then you're going to have a game. That's the thing, because you could stay into your game plan. The 49ers want to run. The 49ers can pass if we had to do that, but that's not the 49ers game. So the way we start that game is going to be very key, and the Chiefs are slow starters. They turn it on later on. But it's going to be crazy. This is going to be one of the better Super Bowls that we have ever seen. I really believe that it has all the storylines and all the stuff that you could ever dream of. Top defense, star power on both sides, so many awards with the coaching staff, Andy Reid versus Kyle Shanahan. You can go on, and we're going to cover all those. So don't worry, we're getting a lot of that. Here we go. Kiwi Warrior. Is this the first team to have a female coach go to the Super Bowl? I believe so. Bruce Arians had a couple female assistants with Arizona, but I'm not sure if that was whenever they went to the Super Bowl or not. I'm going to have to do some research on that. But anyway, John Chapman. Yeah. Does this strike you as the best scheme fit personnel you ever saw? Man, I've been saying forever, the Packers are a terrible matchup for the 49ers because our strengths are their weaknesses and vice versa. And the schemes that they run, we run the same schemes, just better. And what we were able to accomplish today, and if you go back to the 38-7 win, they just don't match up. You say whatever you want about Aaron Rodgers. He made a hell of plays. He made some great plays. They don't match up. They don't match up. It's just what it is. So, yeah, they have built this team. You know, if you go back to Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, their first year, they just drafted guys that they knew could play. The second year, they changed their mindset and they said, look, we've got a bunch of guys that can play. Now we're going after cornerstones only. And that has that's what's worked. Because you get all these players in the 5th round and late and undrafted free agents that are putting in insane quality minutes, and it's working. And they stay with players long after they have struggled, and they give them 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th chances, and it paid off. It paid off. You know, Solomon Thomas had a good game. Minimal snaps, but still, you're getting these guys that are attributing quality minutes. You know, Jimmy Ward, everybody wanted to move on. Eric Armstead, after 2 years, people wanted to move on. But you're seeing these guys just put in insane time and being so productive that this team is special. Oh, there it is. I used the word. I tried my hardest to go see how long I could go without using the word special. And so sorry about that. I guess that means everybody needs to take a shot. But anyway, I do want to take a quick second just to thank our sponsor before I get to more questions and jump into the stat lines. BlueChew.com. These guys are awesome. They've sponsored us for a little over a month now, and they are awesome. Here's the deal. Head to BlueChew.com. The color blue, CHEW.com. Use promo code 49ers. And what BlueChew.com is, it's a discreet way to get what you need for the bedroom. And they have the same active ingredients as Cialis and as Viagra, but it's in chewable form. So you can take it whenever you want to, on an empty stomach, early, late, whatever. And you know it's going to work because it's chewable and it's faster and it just gives you what you need. Now, the best thing about it is you don't have to worry about awkward doctor visit. You don't have to worry about going in and all that stuff. All you do is go to BlueChew.com, use promo code 49ers, answer a couple questions on there. They're going to let you know what product you need that's going to work for you. It ships directly to you in a very discreet package, no attention drawn, whatever. And that's the thing. Your first shipment is free. It's free. All you got to do is pay $5 for shipping. If you use promo code 49ers, head over to BlueChew.com. Thank you so much for all their support for the podcast, and you will not be sorry. So BlueChew.com, use promo code 49ers. Question from Zach. John, the fact we haven't thrown the last 2 games, I feel better for less film put out there for the Super Bowl. Yeah, we played a lot, so they've got a lot of film. And a couple things I will say, jumping over to the defensive side, I saw 2 different defensive alignments I've not seen all year in the first quarter. One, we put Richard Sherman over on Davante Adams early, and there weren't 2 wide receivers to that side. So we've done that in the past. There was just 1 wide receiver to the side, and we flipped our corners. We haven't done that in a long time. Now, we didn't do that a lot, maybe 4 or 5 times that game. And then 2, we walked up, I think it was a 2nd and 7 call. We walked up everybody within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage. It wasn't like a goal line package, whatever. We were in a nickel formation. But that was something I haven't seen either. And so I want to give a shout out to Robert Saleh, who is not a person that likes to install a lot of things. But he definitely he did his job and was able to come out, and we started fast on defense. And, I mean, you shut them out for the first half. You completely blanked them for the first half. Now, they made their adjustments, and that's what happened the first time we played the Packers as well. The 1 touchdown in that 37-8 game against the Packers was right after the half. They made a couple adjustments, came out firing. Aaron Rodgers was red hot. Same thing happened this game. They come out, they score a couple touchdowns right in a row. So great job by Robert Saleh. He held them to 20 points. And I do think that you're exactly correct about the passing game. Kyle Shanahan installs so many plays. And now that you have 2 weeks and in the Super Bowl, he's been in the Super Bowl before. You go back to that crazy Atlanta game. And you could tell that he really learned because you're up 28-3 against the Patriots. The Patriots come back and win. Look what we've done with the leads we've established since then in the playoffs. We're just going to run the ball like crazy and play great defense. It's going to be almost impossible to come back. The only time it felt like a game, the Packers were still down 14 points in the fourth quarter, and we were still able to milk the clock. So what Kyle Shanahan has built and called and all those things, you got to feel good. I love our chances heading into the Super Bowl. I really, really do. Andy Reid's never won a Super Bowl, and there's a reason why. He's great off the bye week during the regular season, but you could scheme and figure some things out, and hopefully we can find some of those things moving forward. So here we go. Goldman Sachs, do you think we may have overused Mostert? Yes, if we had a game next week. No, coming on a bye week. So he's got to get a rest. There's 1 game left. He is good. Every third stroke. Scared about the Chiefs and their throwing game. I'm scared about Tyreek Hill. I'm scared about Tyreek Hill. That's going to be key. We saw Davante Adams beat Sherman deep, and it pissed Sherman off because guess who iced the game? On the exact same route, on the exact same play, got the interception, and outran Davante Adams. So, but there's Davante Adams, then there's Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is insane. So the way that he runs and all those things, that's key. I don't care who gets theirs. And, obviously, Kelsey's going to have a lot of catches for a lot of yards and all those things. You got to make Sammy Watkins beat you. You cannot let Tyreek Hill beat you. So that's early on just from watching a lot of the Chiefs games. That seems to be the thing. You got to stop Tyreek Hill. He is the key to that offense. I believe that. Let's see here. Cold-blooded. Can't even explain how hyped I am seeing my 49ers going to the Super Bowl. Biggest fan in Australia here from down under. Appreciate the shout out there. That is awesome. And welcome as always. The international faithful community, it's second to none. And again, we're working on a couple series over on NinersRush.com. Faithful from afar, trying to get as much content out there and share stories because there's going to be a whole new wave of 49ers fan, which we have already experienced. And we need to welcome them in. People need new teams, and that's okay as long as they stay. And that's what's so special about the 49ers fan base. We're not the arrogant, whatever else. Welcome them in. Just make sure they stay. That's all. Don't give them a hard time for switching teams if they're teenagers or whatever else. Welcome them in and let them know, hey, you got to stay. It's what it is. You can't leave. And if you're that type of person that's going to switch, if you're like one of those people that just follows LeBron James around, you need to go. You're not welcome here, then you need to go. In Scotland, headed to bed and a happy faithful. The Super Bowl is going to be special. Thank you, Devar68. Really do appreciate the Geek Freak. Free agents are going to take less money to come and play for this new dynasty. You are exactly correct there. You had to overpay in Kyle Shanahan's first year. Now they are lining up. Look what happened with Joey Bosa. And he's putting stuff out there saying, hey, I want to play with my brother. Those are the type of things that you want to see. From Lewis, I think Kyle saving some of his more creative plays for the Super Bowl, not wanting to show too much. Yeah, I agree with you. One, I think he just wanted to win and make a statement against Mike Pettin, who he hates. He used to coach with the Browns, and just burying that defense. You know, there's one telling stat in this game, and let me get it pulled up here. The 49ers rushed the ball 41 times for 7 yards per carry. You don't need to throw. If you average 7 yards per pass attempt, you're doing wonderful. We averaged 7.7 yards per pass attempt. Aaron Rodgers, 7 yards per pass attempt. We averaged the same thing running the ball. And so whenever you can do that, you don't have to throw the ball, especially when you have the lead, because you're just shortening the game. So, yeah, there are definitely some plays that we could have used that we didn't. And you just roll those over because there's no film out there, and that's huge. From Jason, hey, John, enjoy this. Shout out. You should have done more points. You are exactly correct. Which takes us to our next big bet, our sponsor. That is mybookie.ag. Use promo code 49ers. As always, we went 1 for 2 on bets. The big bet that we did was the 49ers and the Chiefs covering with a 7-point teaser bet. We hit on that, so we got paid off on that. The second big bet I did was the 49ers to win between 1 and 13 points. They won by 17, so we didn't hit on that. But if you bet with us, you came out positive. So positive week. We'll look into some more bets for sure with MyBookie, who's going to be staying with us. They're the number one sports book betting site online. Not close. The amount of prop bets that they have is second to none. Always updating their lines. They're going to have so much stuff for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl prop bets is so much fun, from what color Gatorade is poured to how long the over-under on the national anthem. It's a lot of fun. Head over there to mybookie.ag. Use promo code 49ers, 49ERS, and they're going to double your initial deposit. You want to put down $100, they're going to give you $100 to bet with, and all the way up to $1,000. We've been betting with them all year. It's been an absolute blast. Adds a lot more to the game, and it's a lot of fun. So come bet with us if you haven't already. Head to mybookie.ag. Use promo code 49ers. SB. Got here late. Wow, amazing game. What do you think about Coleman? Does Wilson Jr. come up 100%? I think that there was a chance Jeff Wilson Jr. was going to be active today over Breida. A lot of the faithful were calling for that because I understand that I'm a big Matt Breida guy, and I want him out there. But he had 4 fumbles in a span of 10 carries. He only lost 2 of those, but that seems to put him in the doghouse. We talked earlier about how Kyle Shanahan flipped out whenever Mostert tried to come out of the game because he was tired. So you definitely do not think that Kyle Shanahan believes in Breida. But he's got to rely on somebody else. You've got to have a number 2. Breida is more than capable. You know, we went into this offseason thinking, you know, once Jerick McKinnon went down, that he was going to be the guy. Him and Tevin Coleman were going to be running backs A and B. Mostert just freaking went nuts. It's just what it is. So yeah, you kind of take that for what you want. Jason, really appreciate the shout out. Patreon is awesome, says Jason. Please come join us over there. Patreon.com, 49ers Rush Podcast, $8 a month. You get a ridiculous amount of videos. Comes out to less than $1 a video, and the videos are an hour plus. I talk a lot, as you know, but it just brings you a coaching and scheme perspective. You know, if you're asking how we match up against the Chiefs, that's the best way to do it. I'll throw a lot of clips up on Twitter at JL_Chapman, and I'll dub a lot of the video, the coaches film on my next podcast on here, but it's just too long to go over everything else, and it's a way to bring some money into the podcast. So please head over there, Patreon. Anything that's raised on there, that is paid to go into the podcast, whether new equipment, new mic, new lighting, new camera, new all that stuff, website development, all that. So any of the money that comes in from Patreon doesn't go to me, it goes straight to the podcast. We're working on some new logos, some t-shirts, some new hoodies, things like that. A lot of stuff out there that we're just trying to bring back to you guys. Anyway, a couple more questions before we jump off. This is awesome. You constantly have to kind of step back and pay attention to the forest and not the tree. This is a historic season. It's historic. You go 13-3, get the 1 seed. You're 6-2 at home. You dominate the playoffs, win both games by 17 points, and both the teams wanted to quit. It's just what it is. And so absolutely awesome. So happy to be in the Super Bowl again. 2012 season to 2013 Super Bowl. It's been 7 years, and now we're back. So let's see here. John, this is from Steve Rowe. Aaron was under pressure. Careful what you say. Your words can come back to haunt you. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is always going to do that. It's just who he is. And so that was awesome. I love seeing him just be frustrated back there and pissed off and all those things because he wears everything on his face. He's one of those people that can't hide the way he really feels. So great job by the defense. That front four was just lightning. They were all over the place. Bosa, what he was able to do to David Bakhtiari was insane because bright and early whenever he got that sack and the tackle for loss, he just power cleaned David Bakhtiari, who's an all-pro left tackle. He's a different guy. From the Geek Freak, I think Kyle's Niners are mentally tougher than Harbaugh's Niners. There's a different makeup. You're definitely right. Harbaugh fits into that Patriot way type of everybody kind of hates being there, but we're winning, so let's stay together. And as soon as winning goes wrong, name calling, finger pointing, all is burn the house down. Kyle's not that guy. Outside of the Washington Redskins, whenever he and his dad were there, every team has wanted Kyle to stay. That's the only place that was like, peace out. But that's Dan Snyder, who's the worst. So take that for what you want. I'm seeing minus 1.5. That the Vegas lines may have been released already, and if that is the case, that makes sense. That's exactly what I was predicting. Minus 1.5 to 2 points, the 49ers would be favored. So if somebody wants to confirm that, we will see here. From Fidel, Niner faithful from Washington. Love it. How about a shout out? What's up, Fidel? Thanks for joining, Fidel Mendoza. And you're in enemy territory. And so we need as many of you as we can get. So thank you, Fidel. Really, really appreciate it. From Track Stargazing, love Track Star. He does a lot of great stuff. Big fan of that guy. John, you think Kyle Shanahan will have Jimmy G ready to pass and gunslinging if needed? You are exactly correct. This team can win any way it wants to. We've seen the games where Jimmy throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. We've seen the games where you win 9-3 in the mud against Washington. We've seen the games where you rush 47 times and 41 times. We've seen them all. The 49ers team has won every way possible. Stopping the run, stopping the pass. This team can do whatever is out there. It's a chameleon. What's needed, that's what we're going to do. And so, yeah, if Jimmy needs to throw, I'm not too worried whatsoever. Kittle, who I think is the best player in the NFL, I really, really do. I understand the quarterback position and all that stuff. But whenever you look at a player against their position group, Kittle is so far ahead of all the other ones. And we have been able to use him for back-to-back weeks just as a blocker. As I said earlier, Kittle didn't get a catch until the 9th series, the 9th offensive series. That's crazy. And I did want to put this out there, too. I want to tweet this out and see what y'all think. What if we start calling Debo and Kittle the Yak Pack? Yards after catch, they call it Yak, right? The Yak Pack. So let me know what y'all think about that. I'll read through the comments later today. and tomorrow when I'm at the airport. But yeah, I want to start getting that one going. But so thankful that you guys are all here again. Thank you so much. We've got a lot more content coming this week, and man, it's one of those things that we could just sit here and just keep going. But I've got to wrap this up, unfortunately, and just want to say thank you so much, guys, for all the support all season. And we're not going anywhere. We are stepping up our game just like the 49ers have continued to do. And so we're going to have a lot of content this week and next week heading into the Super Bowl. So make sure if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And we will be back with you guys shortly. And as always, stay strong, faithful.